Hey Fae folk, welcome back. So Monster High is about to release a new upcoming Skullector doll, and I have got to talk about it. Now, to be fair, that actually could apply to a couple of different dolls. They are making a duo of Skullector dolls for the Us movie, and then they are making a Xenomorph doll from Alien franchise. This is going to be a video for the Xenomorph doll. I have seen the Us dolls, and I contemplated making a video for them. I'll pop them on screen. We'll just do like a quick little 2-second hear my thoughts on them. I haven't seen the movie. We'll get more into that disclaimer in a second. So I don't like understand any of the Easter eggs or like any of the design at all, really. I will say I think that the base dolls look really, really solid, and the hair especially. I've seen some stuff floating around that they like had to do some new techniques and stuff to get the hair right. I think it's really nice that we're getting to see some more diversity in the Skullector lineup. Like, I think that is absolutely fabulous. But between me not understanding the film that it's from and also the clothes just looking really quite rough, they're not for me. That's sort of my thoughts on those. But like I said, today's video, we're going to be focusing on the Xenomorph doll because wowee, do I have a lot more opinions on that one. Reese here is very excited to also be involved in sharing those opinions. So as I said, we have a couple extra little disclaimers to get through. The typical one is just that this is my opinion. You're free to disagree with me. Just like be nice about that if you want to express it in the comments down below. The other disclaimer is just like I haven't seen Us. I haven't seen anything involving Alien. If you guys have been here before, this isn't shocking, okay? I'm not like a huge movie person. I just find visual media a little bit more difficult than like I read a lot, and I feel like it's a lot easier for me to approach a book than it is for me to approach a movie. Like that's just, it's not something that is as simple to me. I know that sounds so silly, but I'm not as big a fan of like movies and even shows. I'm kind of iffy about, and then especially anything horror or even remotely scary. I can't see it. I can read horror books. I cannot see it on screen or I will have nightmares for genuinely 6 months. So I haven't seen anything related to Alien, but I still have my thoughts. Okay, so we're going to be going through those today. Now, of course, we do have to start with like the boring stuff before we can actually see the doll, and that is how you're supposed to get the doll. So it does seem like she's going to be a Mattel Creations exclusive. We have seen with some of the Skullectors lately that they have been putting them on other retailers' websites, which I've been a really big fan of, but thus far we haven't seen anything from Monster High that makes it sound like that's going to be the case. That obviously could change. They do sometimes love to give us new information at the final hour. But as of right now, it sounds like it's going to be Mattel Creations only. She is going to cost $85 US. And then from 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on October 16th, for that first 24-hour period, she's going to be available to Fan Club members only. So there is like that first day that it's just for people who have the Fan Club membership. And then on October 17th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, she's going to become available to the general public, assuming that there are supplies left. And I feel like they usually do like, there's like a set amount set aside for like the Fan Club release. And I feel like there's always at least a little bit of stock left. I could be wrong on that. Feel free to correct me. But yeah, so there should be some available on the 17th. That's sort of the boring part of this doll. I don't know why I set my phone down. I still need it to look at the pictures. But anyway, let's go ahead and actually take a look at the doll, like the exciting part of today's video. So there are a lot of pictures that we're going to go through, and I do think my thoughts are going to be maybe a little bit disjointed on this one, so I do apologize in advance. But here is our first full body shot that we're going to be looking at, and already this is just so insane. Like this is so good, and I really want to highlight again, I guess spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking very highly about this doll. I don't even understand the context, so I do think that we need to keep that in mind as we go through this video. I feel like it's impressive to impress like an Alien fan, right? Like obviously you want to impress the people who are big fans of the film that you're referencing, but to entice someone who doesn't care about the franchise also means something. So let's just keep that in mind. I think she looks so, so good. A lot of people are speculating, and I agree, that this looks like it's on the big sister mold for the Generation 1 dolls. So it looks like she's a little taller than like your standard Monster High doll would be. We're going to be zooming in on certain parts, so like you're going to see it more closely, but she does have special body sculpting, like all over, like literally all over. I mean, you can see, I don't know if there's a name for them. Sorry. I don't know any of the context again, but these like not quite spikes, but like spines coming out of her back. And to be fair, I will say, I do have a little bit of trouble with this doll just with the stock photos, like not seeing it in person, being able to tell what's connected to the body and what's like sculptural that's like a removable quote unquote clothing piece. So I don't know if those are removable, but even if they are, like that's so cool to have that. She has a tail that is apparently articulated, which is super duper exciting. She's got unique sculpting for the legs and the limbs. We'll talk about the hands in a minute. Like there's a lot of unique sculpting to this doll, genuinely to the point where I'm not sure. Maybe the arms are like as it comes, but almost every piece of this doll, like the base doll, has some sort of customized sculpting on it that is like brand new for her. And I think that's crazy cool. Like it's just so impressive. Looking at her clothes, like I said, there is a lot of plastic pieces to the quote unquote clothes. Like there is this almost rib cage sort of element that looks like it is sitting on top of some fabric. So like that technically I believe would be a removable piece. So it's like more of a clothing piece, but it's plastic. It doesn't really bother me. Like I do think it just is one of those instances where you can have a lot of plastic on a doll design and it can look really, really terrible, or you can have a lot of plastic on it and it can be used smartly. And I do think this has been used in a smart way. When it comes to the fabric that she does have on her body, she's got some sleeves going on, so presumably there's a top underneath the plastic skeleton element. And then she's got like a skirt with these long flowy panels. And I just think they're so pretty. Like they're so genuinely cool. I'm so baffled. I'm so just impressed. And then it just keeps getting better as you zoom in on different elements. So let's go ahead and take a look at, let's do shoes first. Why not? We have these shoes here that I think these are called face huggers. Maybe. I know it's a reference to something from the franchise. I've already seen a lot of people talk about the fact that they're really glad that this isn't the like really egregiously obvious and mismatched object heels that we have been getting with a lot of Monster High collector dolls. And I agree. Like, I do think an object heel can be fun and can be done very well. But I also agree that for a while, Monster High has kind of just heard that statement. And instead of hearing object heels can be fun if they're well thought out, they heard shove an object on the heel and it will sell, which those aren't the same statements. And so a lot of the object heels have been a little bit forced is maybe a good way to put it. Like it doesn't really feel natural. Whereas I think that the sculpting of these, I don't even think that this technically really counts as an object heel, but I don't believe that they're mismatched heels. I can take or leave them mismatched. It's really just depending on how it's executed. But these are shoes that are so clearly for the franchise. Like they're so very obviously thematic to the xenomorph, to the doll that we are looking at, but they don't feel lame. Like they don't feel dumb or like super, super kitschy to the point where it's like not funny. It's just like, oh, that's kind of lazy of them. Like these clearly had a lot of effort put into them, and I really appreciate that. Plus, this gives you a better look at her unique foot and leg sculpting. Like, I'm just, I'm genuinely so baffled about this one. Then just moving up, I suppose. Well, my throat just like gave out for a minute. Sorry about that. This image gives us a bit of a better look at her like bodice section. So again, you can see that plastic piece. And yes, it does look like there is a full top underneath. It's not like just sleeves on there. It looks like there might even be like a faux leather paneling along her stomach, which is super, super cool. And you can see that like there are cutouts on her stomach. So you can see that is also unique sculpting. So I can't tell. Okay, the forearms certainly have at least a little bit of unique sculpting. I can't tell about the upper arms. But that means that the torso, the hands, the calves slash feet, the thighs. Did I say forearms already? Okay, sorry. We have to start over. We'll go bottom up. The calves slash feet, the thighs, the torso, the hands, the forearms, and the face all have completely unique sculpting. Again, it might be true for the upper arms as well. I wouldn't be surprised at that point if they just did the whole thing. I just can't see that, so I can't say for certain. But that is so crazy that like so much detail went into this doll. Like that's just so impressive, and I think her outfit is so incredible. Like I'm just baffled. I'm bamboozled. I think the fabric that they chose to use, the very limited fabric that they chose to use, looks so good. Like it was the right fabric to pick because it's sort of it's all very sheer, like it's there, but it's barely there. And it's like it does feel very much sort of a part of her, even though it is just clothing. It looks so like head to toe, this was designed just so well. Sorry, I'm really excited. I am rambling a bit. You can see a bit of her face here, but we'll look at a couple, couple, a couple better images real quick. So here's a bit of a head-on image. I will say I wish we had a picture of what she looked like without this whole like visor extended head situation, but I do get that like that's the part that really sells Xenomorph the most. Like even I, having not seen the movie, I get that. Like I've seen a picture of Alien. Like I know that that is a very quintessential and a very, I mean, essential part of the design. So like I get why it's all built in and you don't get to see the face. I'm just nosy. I just want to know what the face looks like underneath there. But from what we can see, she's got the dark lips. It looks like she's got some starry eyes sort of behind her visor, which is pretty cool. I also will say, I don't even know if Alien has like eyes proper. So maybe they wanted to like obscure the face because that's technically more movie accurate. I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comments. I'm just spitballing here. But also you can see the detail on the hand, and this new hand sculpt is also just what? I'm so befuddled. I'm so baffled by what they managed to accomplish with this doll because she's got, I don't know what you would technically call it. It almost is like two thumbs, like one on either side of the hand, and then two fingers, but they're made of two fingers each. It's so cool. It's so cool. Like I, I just am genuinely amazed. And then looking at the profile view, you can get a better idea of all of the crazy sculpting on her face. A lot of it is in the like jaw, and then to the back of the head is just so detailed. She does have hair that's like tucked up into the visor, sort of like a beehive shape. So like that's very interesting, and I think that's a cool way to execute this where it definitely still reads Monster High doll. And I do think it was important because like I personally don't care about the amount of plastic on this doll because I think it was executed very well when you compare it to something like the what was it, the Sanderson sisters. That was also a lot of plastic. I mean, to be fair, not as much, but that was also a lot of plastic and it looked really cheap and really bad. Whereas this, I think they used the plastic correctly. But I do think that if her whole head was just like one big vinyl head or like just an entire plastic piece for the visor without the hair, that might be too much. I don't know. I just think that using the hair this way gets the point across. You still get that iconic silhouette and everything, but it also still makes it feel more like a Monster High doll, if that makes sense. I hope I don't sound crazy, but something about that just makes it feel, again, more Monster High, more like a blend of the two instead of just straight up like, oh, here's an alien almost figurine. This definitely gives it more Monster High. And I just have to applaud the ingenuity in using the hair as part of the sculpture, essentially. I think that's a really cool idea. And they very easily could have just been like, oh, well, she's got a bob underneath that. And I don't think that would have read nearly as well. I think this was a very strange way to utilize the hair, but also the correct way for this design to utilize the hair. Last thing, doll wise, to show you just one more little shot where you can kind of see the fabric and everything better. And again, here's the tail in a different shape. So it looks like this tail is articulated and the fabric has got like a bit of shine to it. It's just so phenomenal. My mind is genuinely blown. And like, I'll be honest, she kind of creeps me out. I think it's fairly clear by the fact that I say all the time, and I said in this video that I cannot watch horror movies. I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to that. Okay, I'm fine owning up to that. I'm a bit of a wimp. So like, I'm not saying, oh, this is a creepy doll, like she's gonna terrify everyone. But she is the first Skullector that I've ever felt that with. I have never seen another Skullector doll and been like, ooh, they're actively kind of creepy. Like, obviously, they're inspired by creepy things and horror and everything like that, but they've always veered a little bit more towards like a neutral feeling towards me. Like, I look at them and it's like, oh, that's a doll. It's a design from this. I don't feel scared. I'm not like peeing my pants over the Xenomorph doll, but I do think that there's something about her that is genuinely like a little bit unsettling to me. And personally, I like that. Like, even though I can't watch horror movies, like I said, I read horror books. I like the concept of feeling just a little bit freaked out. I just have like a bad threshold for it, I guess you might say. So I'm not saying that in a bad way. In fact, I think it's really, really cool that she still feels like a Monster High doll. Like, I don't think that they've lost that element of it. I don't think they've gone so far that it doesn't look like that anymore. But something about her is ethereal and also slightly terrifying. And I am just so impressed by that balance. Last thing to talk about is her box. And I have to be honest with you guys. I've said before on the channel, I don't think that the Skullector boxes are like that impressive. I think what it comes down to for me is that if I'm buying a doll, I can see the doll. I don't actually need a box covered in photographs of the doll. I would rather have art of the doll because that's more interesting to me. And the Skullector boxes in general, I think have always just felt kind of lackluster and kind of just they're there. I don't know if it's just because I think this doll is so incredible that I think the box is a lot more palatable, or if the box is genuinely better. Like, I can't tell at this point. I feel like I'm being brainwashed by this doll. But the front of the box has like some green smoke looking on there, and it's like her full profile view. And then the side has like a bigger, not quite full length, but closer to full length photograph of the doll. And then on the back is an egg, and it says, "In space, no one can hear you scream." I don't get the reference, but it's kind of fun. I don't know, I kinda like the colors of it. So, yeah, I literally haven't said one bad thing about this doll, and you might be expecting me, as I usually do, to go off about the price, because that's just the kind of thing that I do in these videos, is be like, "Oh, I don't think this is worth it." I don't know if I would say it's worth $85 just because, like, that is still a lot to spend on a doll. Like, I can't lie, it's still a lot to spend on a doll. I do think this is the closest a Skullector has ever come to being worth it, and she might even be worth it. Like, I'm keeping that option open just because I think the impact feels so strong. Like, we've had other very, very iconic Skullectors, and not all of them have hit this same way. Like, they might be nice dolls. I'm not trying to say every other Skullector has been a piece of shit, but like, this just feels like it's hitting different. And it's not even just me. Like, everyone, it feels like on Instagram, is losing their collective minds over this doll. It feels like everyone wants her. So it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath, I expect, trying to get her. But like, there's just something in the overall design that feels like they hit this on the head. And also the amount of work put into this doll. Again, I really cannot overstate the fact that nearly, if not all of her body has unique sculpt work on it. And that does cost a lot to produce. So like, I'm never, y'all know if you've been here before, I am never one to crawl up Mattel's butt and tell them they're doing an amazing job. I don't do that. I complain constantly about the prices of everything. So that's why I'm hesitant to be like, "Oh, I'm sure she's worth it," especially because I'm just looking at pictures. Like, I don't know if the quality is terrible once you get her in hand, right? But looking at the pictures, I really truly think this is the closest this collector has gotten to being worth it, because I just imagine that developing all of these new molds and everything had to be quite expensive, even if they're basing it off of an original. Because like, presumably for like the hand is so different, it might be completely new. But like the forearm, for example, they probably took their existing sculpt and just added some extra details to it. But that still means that they have to make new molds and everything to make these dolls. Like, that's still a very intensive process. And so I can just see the effort, which I do think is interesting for me to say on a doll that realistically has so little fabric. Like, so much of that doll is plastic, but I keep harping on it. I really think that it's just been used in the way plastic should be used. It's not, I think the difference is it doesn't feel like plastic for the sake of making something that is cheaper. It feels like plastic because that is genuinely the best material to use to make most of these elements. And then they did use the fabric where it sort of makes sense. And for this design, I think I just hit the mic, sorry. I do think that this doll would not have had the same impact if she had a full outfit of non-sheer fabric. I think the fact that you see so little fabric and there is so much amazing sculpt work is why she has the impact she has. So I'm amazed, to the point where I literally can't even believe I'm saying this. I have no intention even of watching the movies. As I said, can't handle it. I think I'm gonna try for this doll. which is crazy because normally, like, I don't really buy things from franchises or celebrities or anything that I don't know. There's no judgment if you do. It's just I generally don't. But that's how insane this doll is I actually I kind of want her. And even my husband was like, that's amazing. Like you should try for her. So whether I'll be successful or not is another story. Because like I said, I think this is going to be a rough one. Everyone seems to love this. Like obviously there's going to be people who just don't like the franchise or don't like the doll because of that. But it seems like not that many people are complaining about the doll herself, if that makes sense. Like they might not be a fan and so they might not want it because of that. But I feel like I haven't seen anyone who likes Alien, who likes like routinely buying Skullectors, even if maybe they're less familiar with the franchises. I don't think I've seen anyone yet who's like, yeah, I just think this doll's ugly. Obviously, like if you do, that's fine. I'm not trying to like isolate you or anything like that. I'm just trying to illustrate it seems like she's extremely popular. So it's going to be difficult. And frankly, I'm not holding out much hope to be able to get her, but like we're still going to try because, I might as well give it a whirl. And if I get her, that'll be amazing. And if I don't, I'll survive. But yeah, those are all of my thoughts. Very glowing video for today. Definitely let me know all of your opinions down below. Are you also on the love train? Are you going to try to get her or is she too expensive? Because I get that. Like, whether or not it's quote unquote worth 85, like whether or not you think it's getting close to being worth $85, that's still a lot of money to spend, especially because you can't get free shipping on Mattel Creations because their membership system is a joke. Sorry. So yeah, let me know if you're planning on getting her, if it's like price prohibitive, or if you actually genuinely dislike her. Sound out down below. This is in fact a safe space to be a hater, at least if you're being nice to like real people about it. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I feel like I've gotten a little yappy here. Reese clearly wants some attention, so I'm going to close out the video, but I do hope you guys were able to enjoy today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.